Greetings to you all. My name is Michelle Nagawa and I'm part of the VCSP core team. I serve as the second in charge of the knowledge portal and I'm the incoming lead for the communications and marketing. And today I'll be sharing on the concept of how to write a paper for FIG. We as the VCSP have submitted a paper for this year's FIG Congress that will be happening in Poland, but as a team we've thought it important to actually share some of the tips that we feel are very important and vital along the journey. It won't be long, but I'll share on the concept of what our research papers are according to my understanding, some important points to always consider, and also make a conclusion. Yes, I repeat, my name is Michelle Nagawa and I am from Uganda. Yes. So research papers are basically in our profession something that is scientific and has an impact in either a knowledge gap or a practical use of a method that can make it easier to do research for people and for our profession. And to have a call of papers, usually you have to have, a call for abstracts. The paper should be full already because it makes it easy to just pick, because the abstract has everything that the project entails: the background, the objectives, the methodology used, and the results and discussions, as well as the conclusion. So you'll find that your abstract should at least help the reader to get the points from all these different sections. Also, when writing a research paper, what are the key components to consider? It's very important to know the audience that you're writing for. For example, if it's a congress, there are very many professionals available, but as much as they're professionals, we know that we do have commissions, and if you want to write for a particular commission, say 3, or one that is dealing with land administration, terror security, or urban planning, it's very, very important to understand your audience, because those are people that will understand your research better and will make it easy to present to them, as opposed to something that is very broad. It's very important to always keep the paper as focused as possible. I have been able to do research as well and yet to publish a paper, but you know that the variables don't have to be many. You could work with 2. Am I working with GIS, or I'm working with urban planning, and maybe the method that you use to assess the situation. So if your research is really broad and has so many components, your readers or your audience might get lost along the way. So it's very important to make sure that it is very focused. And then also it's very important to know what you are working on. Is there a knowledge gap? Is there a situation? Why are you doing this research? Is there a problem? I remember in my undergraduate studies, they always emphasize that it's not about the methodology you're using, because methodologies work, the methods will work, the tools you want to use will work, but is there a problem? So it's very important to know that whatever you're trying to research in has actually opportunity to be worked on and developed and increase something like the knowledge or the practical assessment. So yes. And then what is the key message you're trying to put out there for the young surveyors, for the professionals, for future potential writers, researchers? What is the key message? What should we pick from your research? Because in the end, it makes it easy for somebody to maybe pick another gap from your recommendations, and do, like, the research becomes continuous. Then, of course, it's very important to understand the structures of the papers that we write for. There are standards on how a research should flow, so it's important to always make research on the particular organization you're applying for. For example, if it's the International Engineering Association, how do they want the papers written, the structure? If it's FIG, what structure am I supposed to submit? And it's not so hard. There are very many papers over years that have been submitted, and therefore you can always make research as you're doing this, getting journals to read and see the flow of how the papers or the abstracts have been submitted. And it's very important to always keep a flow of the research, so your audience can keep rooted and they keep on following your research. You don't want to lose them just after page 1 and they have to keep flipping. Make it interesting, engaging, but yet very easy to follow. And making sure that your writing is plain and simple to understand is also important, because we don't want to have your readers, you don't want to have your readers or your audience losing you along the way because of complicated words that cannot be understood, or abbreviations that are very, very many and are not like explained. So I can lose count, like if page 4 the abbreviation was explained on page 1 and I can't go to page 1 because I've been following with this momentum. So you need to find the best way to ensure that you're using a language that is plain and simple and understandable by your audience. Yes. And the time frames. What time frames are there for writing papers? Usually when you have a call for papers, a call for abstracts, instructions have been set that we have these deadlines. You can look at submitting at this particular time. So they won't tell you that make sure that you write in this kind of way, these are time frames. No, but as an individual and your writing skills and research and availability, you can structure your time to be able to put up something that is really, really good. So you find that if you're being given maybe a month to submit an abstract, that's 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, how can you make sure you have something written in a given order and have your peers and different researchers in your circle look at what you've written and make the necessary edits before the month gets there? So this is all about planning, engaging, and ensuring that you have something that is feasible and very realistic, and something that will make an impact in the research writing industry within our profession. So depending on your writing skills and your experience in this, of course, as first timers, as young surveyors, usually it can be our first time to write and it will be super, super hard, but it's not impossible. It's very easy. It gets easier with time. So the first step is to start and engage, and then it gets better. So you can be able to figure out, how can I plan? How do I schedule? Do I write better in the morning hours or late in the night after? For some who have maybe full-time jobs, do I write better after work? Do I write better in the night? Should I, schedule over the weekend? So as you can realize, they will give you timelines to submit, but within those timelines, there's enough time for you to come up with something good, put it on paper, and then share. And then the most other important thing is what to do. It's not very advisable to just write something and submit it. We have professionals, people that have done this for a long time and are good at it and can be able to help you with the general principles on how to write something that is engaging and can easily be accepted within society. So I always encourage young surveyors or young professionals, to ensure that they do share with peers, if you're maybe writing for a peer review paper, or with professionals for a given conference that they usually attend, and then get feedback on how it is. And it's okay to take time off. You don't have to do it in 1 week and then make sure everything happens 1 week. That's a lot of pressure, and you might miss out on the points that you can change. So if you have like a time frame of a month or 2 months, it's okay to write this week, give it a break. Your brain will keep thinking about all you've compiled, and then in the other week you can be able to come back with a fresher mind, new ideas, and then you make the necessary changes. That is it from me. Maybe my encouragement is to you all young surveyors all over the world to get into writing. Writing is good because that's how we can keep records of the progress we have made within our profession. So if you have the time, if you have the skill, the ability to write, it's very important that you put it down on paper so the future generations can find something that they can refer to. So it's okay to also not get the paper accepted first time. It's fine, but it's not reason to give up. it's reason to actually go back to the drawing board, get to know what happened, what went wrong, and then be encouraged and pick from those that are accepted and then learn, because it's all about learning in the end. Thank you so much for listening, and I wish you a lovely